There is a specific kind of disorientation that doesn't get talked about enough. It's not depression exactly, it's not anxiety exactly, it's the feeling of looking at your own life, your job, your relationships, your habits, even your opinions, and asking, quietly with strange kind of dread. Whose life is this? Because it doesn't feel like mine anymore. You used to know who you were, or at least you thought you did, and somewhere along the way that knowing quietly slipped away, and nobody told you it was leaving. If you are in the middle of that right now, not knowing who you are, who you're becoming, or who you even want to be, I want you to know this is more common than you think, and there is a way through it. Let's talk about what's actually happening to you. An identity crisis is not a malfunction. It is what happens when the self you built no longer matches the life you're actually living, or the person you're actually becoming. Most people build their identity out of borrowed materials. The career path your family expected, the personality traits that got you approval as a kid, the beliefs you inherited before you were old enough to question them, the role you played in your friend group, your relationship, your workplace. For a while, that borrowed identity works fine. It's functional. It gets you through school, through your 20s, through the early version of adult life. You don't examine it too closely because it's doing its job, and then something shifts, a relationship ends, a career stalls, or suddenly succeeds in a way that feels hollow. A loss happens, a milestone arrives that was supposed to feel like a rival and instead feels like nothing, and suddenly the identity you'd been wearing doesn't fit anymore. Not because you did something wrong, because you outgrew it. The crisis isn't that you lost yourself. The crisis is that the old self genuinely doesn't apply to who you're becoming, and nothing has replaced it yet. You are not lost. You are in between. A huge part of why identity crises feel so disorienting is that we confuse three completely different layers of ourselves and panic when one of them changes. Layer 1, your roles. Your job title, your relationship status, your position in your family. These are real, but they are not you. They are containers you currently occupy. When a role ends, a job, a relationship, a chapter, it can feel like you are disappearing. You are not. The container changed. The person who was holding it is still there. Layer 2, your personality patterns. The funny one, the responsible one, the easygoing one. These are real too, but they were often built as survival strategies, not fixed truths. When you start to outgrow an old personality pattern, and when the easygoing one gets tired of swallowing her opinions, when the responsible one gets tired of holding everyone together, it can feel like you're losing yourself. You're actually just losing a costume you've been wearing for a long time. That is not a loss. That is a release. Layer 3, your core, the part that watches all of this happen. This is the part that has been quietly present through every role you've held and every personality pattern you've outgrown. It was there when you were the funny one, and it's there now that you're not sure who you are. This layer is far more stable than it feels in the middle of a crisis. It just rarely gets acknowledged because the roles and patterns are louder and easier to point to. An identity crisis feels catastrophic because it touches layers 1 and 2. But layer 3, the part of you that is actually asking these questions right now, has never once gone anywhere. Think about it this way. The 5-year-old version of you, the 20-year-old version of you, and the version of you watching this video right now have almost nothing in common on the surface. Different roles, different personalities, different beliefs even. And yet there has always been something continuous underneath all of it. A quiet witness that has been present for every single version. That witness is not confused about who it is. It has simply been buried under the noise of roles and personalities that were never meant to be permanent in the first place. This is why people who go through identity crises and come out the other side often describe the same strange sensation. Not that they became someone new, but that they finally stopped covering up who had been there all along. Before we go further, I want to acknowledge something important. This in-between place is genuinely frightening, and pretending otherwise would be dishonest. Human beings are wired to want a stable sense of self. It helps us make decisions quickly, predict how we'll feel about things, and move through the world with some kind of confidence. When that stable sense of self goes quiet, the brain interprets it as a kind of danger. Not because anything is actually wrong, but because uncertainty about who you are feels, to your nervous system, dangerously close to uncertainty about whether you'll survive. That's why an identity crisis can come with real physical symptoms. Restlessness, trouble sleeping, a free-floating anxiety that doesn't seem to be about anything specific. Your body is reacting to the absence of a familiar internal map, even though nothing in your actual life or death circumstances has changed. Knowing that this fear is a known, common, almost universal part of the process doesn't make it disappear, but it does make it less terrifying. You're not uniquely broken for feeling shaky right now. You're having a completely human response to a completely human experience. I want to tell you about someone. He had spent 15 years being the dependable one, the friend everyone called when things fell apart, the employee who never said no to extra responsibility, the son who held the family together quietly without complaint for as long as anyone could remember. And then, somewhere in his late 30s, he woke up one ordinary Tuesday and felt nothing. Not sadness exactly, just a vast, quiet absence where his sense of self used to be. He couldn't answer simple questions anymore. What do you actually like doing? He didn't know. He'd spent so long being useful to everyone else that he'd never gotten around to finding out. What do you believe, separate from what you were raised to believe? Silence. He had no answer. For months, it terrified him. He thought something was deeply wrong. He researched symptoms. He wondered if he was depressed, broken, having some kind of breakdown. Eventually, a quieter realization arrived. He wasn't broken. He was finally meeting himself for the first time underneath 15 years of performance. It was disorienting precisely because it was real. Not because something had gone wrong, but because something true was finally trying to surface after being buried under usefulness for so long. He didn't find himself by searching harder. He found himself by finally going quiet enough to hear what was already there. So, if you are in the middle of this right now, here is what actually helps. First, stop trying to answer "who am I?" as if it's a single fixed fact waiting to be discovered. It's not a fact, it's a practice. You find out who you are by noticing what you're drawn to when nobody is watching, not by solving an equation in your head. Second, get curious about small, private things again. What do you actually enjoy, separate from what makes you look good? What opinions do you hold that you've never said out loud? Start collecting honest data about yourself the way you would about a new person and you're getting to know them, because in a sense, you are. Third, resist the urge to rebuild a new identity too quickly just to escape the discomfort of not having one. The in-between space is uncomfortable, but it's also where the most honest version of you actually has room to form. Rushing into a new role just to feel solid again often just rebuilds the same borrowed structure with a different label. Let it take the time it takes. You are not behind schedule. There is no schedule. Fourth, let other people witness you in the in-between instead of waiting until you have it figured out to let them see you. There is a strong temptation during an identity crisis to disappear from your relationships until you've sorted yourself out. Resist that. The people who actually love you do not need you to arrive at a finished, polished version of yourself before they're allowed to know you. Let at least one person see you mid-unraveling. Tell them honestly, I don't really know who I am right now. You'll likely find that the world doesn't end when you say it out loud, and that the right people lean in closer, not further away. If you don't know who you are right now, I want you to hear something clearly. Not knowing is not the same as being lost. You are not required to have a fully formed answer to be allowed to keep living. The part of you asking these questions, the part that is uncomfortable enough to even be searching, that part is not confused. That part is awake. The roles you've lost were never the whole of you. The personality you're outgrowing was never the deepest truth of you. What's underneath all of that, the quiet, watching, asking part, has been with you this entire time, and it is not going anywhere. You don't have to find yourself by next week. You just have to keep listening. If you are in the middle of this right now, share this with someone going through their own quiet unraveling. Sometimes just knowing it's not a breakdown, that it's actually a becoming, changes everything. My name is Zoni. Subscribe. This channel exists for exactly this. The in-between places nobody prepared you for. You are not lost. You are finally arriving.